here if you're in the metropolitan Detroit area because there's some sprinkles. People have been talking all week about the rain is coming and you want a little relief from the heat. And in comparative to what is happening all over this country, we should not complain ever. But that little mist that's coming down this morning, I know that you're pleased, and I know that all is well with you. And we're so happy that you're tuned in with us on WHR TV 33 this morning. And I do my courtesy because you know that's what I do. This is another Friday edition of Coffee and Conversation with Collette, and the Son of Man is back. So I know that you all are anticipating the conversation. We missed him last week. We always want to say a great morning, even if we don't verbalize it, but today we're verbalizing it to Mr. Harrison and the family for giving us this opportunity. And we are always with you, and we're praying with you and for you always. And we just always think about the conversations that you have had that have made us better. And so we can't wait to speak with you yet again. Everyone, you all know yesterday was a little interesting conversation. You know, it's so interesting when you get conversations after the conversation. You know, they always tell you if you grow up in a church and the pastor speaks, and if you're speaking, especially if there's a pastor, forgive me, not said alleged. If there's a pastor after that pastor, they say that you don't supposed to speak after the pastor. Well, it's so funny how people don't want to talk to me online if you disagree. I'm letting you all know it's totally fine. I have no problems with you disagreeing. You don't have to text me. You don't have to inbox me and tell me that you don't agree with the conversation yesterday. I don't have a problem with this. What do we say on this show? You might not do it anywhere else, but on this show, on this right here, there's more than one way to have a conversation, and you can disagree. And as the Son of Man always says, and you can state your point, and I'm going to state my position, and then we're going to talk through it. And at the end of our time together, we're going to be better because of it. It's really simple, you all. The goal is what? Educate, enlighten, and empower. Those things happen. So you might not be able to move to enlightenment if you can't get past the education process, because what I might think something is might not actually be what it is. And I might need correction, as you might need correction. And then we can all become better. And then as we walk away after our time is up, we're better. And we take that energy and we go out into the community and we go back into our homes and we go into our workplaces and we share it. And we start thinking. And so yesterday I asked you all to think. We came off of an election cycle. Everyone is preparing for this mayoral run and city council run and city clerk run. And a lot of people had some upset about who the top two were for city clerk, and then who the top two were for city council member pro tem, and then we even talked about the funding behind the mayoral candidates and what that looks like. And I just ask you all, overall, in the midst of all of that, if you exercise your vote, if you believe that election is about who you put in place, but it's about what you do with the power, so what you do, you do, meaning you, me, us. I'm moving us away from leadership, and I know I'm going to ask the man to come on shortly. I'm moving us away from leadership, and I'm wondering, at the end of the day, we keep having the same questions about leaders throughout time. We've had the same questions because we consistently, specifically in Detroit, we consistently have talked about the poor being the poor. The poor not getting the resources that the community needs. The neighborhoods not getting the resources that the neighborhoods need. And throughout the history of this city, the downtowns have always been sustained. Even when the growth ceased, the people moved and fled the city, the downtown still maintained themselves, and the resources still didn't go into the neighborhoods. And so today we're having the same conversation. And so we're having the same conversation about who we want to lead us. And so I then equate that to the same conversations that we have in the church. And we keep saying that we go to all, so everyone knows that every corner in Detroit has a church almost. And so everyone wants a different leader, and all the results are still the same. And or you're in a group and then you break off from that leader because you say that you don't agree with them, and instead of talking through it as a collective, you walk away and then you start something else, and then you take your 20 people with you, and at the end of the day it is all the same. And so I asked yesterday, we are looking at it as this great accomplishment of management from the mayor and the administration that's in place. But I asked you, is the true winner in this for the revitalization of our city and the renewal, as it is said, is the bankruptcy? That once all your debt is swiped off the books from common knowledge, now, of course, that doesn't negate the losses for pensions, and that still needs to be covered. But no one is talking about the revenues that have been or going to be raised from these stadiums to be able to put money back in the pensions. Because, you see, the truth is, our administration does whatever they want to do. So everyone sits and talks about, oh, well, no, you can't take those funds. Well, public funds were taken that were supposed to be allocated to schools that went into offset the cost for the stadium. That actually happened. So why can't anyone just say, okay, well, guess what? I want to secure a portion of the revenues that are coming from these stadiums now to go back to offset the monies that were taken from the pensions in the bankruptcy. But, of course, I don't hear that kind of conversation. But in the midst of all this, we keep sitting here talking about it's about the leadership. Well, if you had your debt wiped clean, wouldn't you be an attractive candidate to anyone? The creditors are going to come and offer you all the credit cards. Everyone's going to come, and if you can make up a mortgage, income amount, and then they'll give you mortgage opportunities. There'll be tons of things that happen to you individually if you declare bankruptcy. You all know from a personal perspective, for people who declare bankruptcy, what do they normally say? It's 5 to 7 years or something after you declare bankruptcy, or 4 years maybe. And people say, well, 2 years in, they're sending you credit card applications. They're trying to finance you. So people don't look at bankruptcy as a failure. President Trump has declared bankruptcy multiple times to protect his personal assets. And so when you have a city that has declared bankruptcy, as we have had municipal cities across this country, cities that you aren't even familiar with. Did you know that Hartford, Connecticut is talking about bankruptcy? Did you know that? Harrisburg, Pennsylvania? You all know about Stockton, California? There are places, Alabama, Jefferson County, Alabama. We can go on and on about the cities that have declared bankruptcy, and then you wonder about the rebirth and the growth. If I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a business person, if I look at this city as a clean slate, if I know the valuation of your assets is low, I'm going to come in and I'm going to create whatever I want. And that is what has happened in this city. And we say, oh, it's because of this leadership.
I look at this.
I really want you all to understand, I don't necessarily believe that no matter who was elected or selected 4 years ago, that this growth from the city still wouldn't have happened. Because the mayoral seat was not what attracted the business to the city. The bankruptcy caused people to pay a different set of attention to the city, because they knew that there was no other place that you could come in a municipal structure this large and get the stock, meaning the inventory, that you could at the price point to be able to create your business. And so everyone is flocking to this city. And then everyone wants to create the narrative. Remember, we keep talking about that. It's the stories that they tell you to believe as to why we are the way that we are. And then when you sit and look, you wonder why. And then everyone is upset. And I shared with you all last week that I was just shocked that there were white folks that had moved into the Russell Woods neighborhood where my family resides. And I was just shocked, and I told you all. I probably felt like they feel when you move out into their neighborhoods, like, oh, really, you're here? Like, how does this happen? And that's really how I felt, and I just had to deal with myself on that. But that's just how I felt, and I just had to catch myself. But the bigger issue is, for those of us who have been here, for those 2 and 3 generations of working class Detroiters who have stayed and who have weathered the storm and who have been tax upon tax upon tax and still feel that they are disadvantaged and they're not getting the resources and the support that they need. What happens? So we keep looking to leadership to change the paradigm. And I'm just asking, are we the leaders that we're looking for? Now, I'm going to ask the Honorable Son of Man from the new Nation of Islam to come on board. We missed him last week. and he talks to us and teaches us about leadership. And I just want to know, Son of Man, because of course you grew up in the California area. When we talked about the rebellion, people don't want to. I was corrected. Someone told me, well, Collette, it really wasn't a riot rebellion. It wasn't a race riot. It was a rebellion. And I said, okay, that's how you want to classify it for your understanding. But Son of Man, you were in a time where you experienced that. You experienced this resurgence of what is happening, or maybe what has always been in LA, the haves and the have-nots. But your experiences are international, so we can talk about all of that, and we can bring it back to who we are as individuals and what that looks like. So I feel I'm going to link to you this morning, sir.
Well, Salam.
Thank you.
I want to say to all the who are hungry and thirsty for righteousness, may Allah's salam alaikum. Leadership is just another word for head. As your head leads your body around. It is up to the head to know what the body needs, and because the body feels, the body transmits its feelings to the head. Then the head's supposed to act on knowledge, the body, what it needs, and not always what the body feels it needs. You know, just because you have a taste for sweets, don't mean that that's the best thing for you. And so the head has to lead the body and not let the body lead the head. It's like with me, I'm a leader. And when my followers come to me with things that they would like to do, I counsel them. And so the head, if I don't think it's the best thing, I would tell them, no, we're not going to do that. And they accept my judgment. That's because they are my followers. You have, for the most part, you choose people and call them your leaders when they are actually following your dictates. They're following you. And that's why you never get nowhere. It's because a leader is the one that's supposed to map out what direction to go, and then the people who choose him. If you have chose a man or a woman to be your mayor or to be your that's why you never get representative, because then you're choosing them supposed to mean that you trust their judgment. And if you trust their judgment, then whatever they decide to do, you support, because you feel that they are more insightful than yourself. They have more knowledge than you. They may have more understanding of that than you. And so you trust them to do the right thing, and you support what they want to do. And that is what leadership is really. That's why in this world, you notice the whole world is all messed up. Not just in America, but all over the earth. There's wars, rumors of more wars, just all type of things going on. Poverty, just injustice, human slavery, human trafficking, all kind of things just going on all over the earth. And yet you still haven't come to the conclusion that the scripture was correct when it said that the head of every man is Christ. This is in the 11th chapter of Corinthians. I'm going to read it briefly. Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of the body of Christ. Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you. If the Nation of Islam had did that, it never would have failed. If they had just kept the ordinances and the rules and the regulations that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad laid out. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ. And the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. So in other words, if you're looking for leadership, you must turn to God and his representatives, the Holy Scriptures. And so that is what I'm here for. If you know, I had a brother ask me, what can we do about all these racist white people, racist white policemen shooting down our people? I told you what to do about that. I told you to get behind me.
So in other words,
but you think that there's some other magic bullet you're gonna find. There ain't no magic. You get with the man that God put there for you, and then you have God protecting you. By the things that I teach my followers to do, they are not subject to that kind of thing.
You think that,
but you don't believe, so there's nothing I can do for you on that. Because I'm not following you. You're supposed to follow me. So leaders, remember, leadership is the head. Well, God already told you where leadership is. It's with those whom he has raised up and appointed as your head.
I'm not following.
You know, this is not something new. This is old.
You're supposed to follow me.
To us.
Leader, remember.
But we are hard-headed. Allah said, son of man, they are a rebellious house. Your problem is most of the people who claim they following somebody, they not following nobody. They got somebody walking in front. And because he going the way they want to go, then they say, I'm following him. Well, that's a lie.
Well,
they following themselves. Everybody in this country is just about as rebellious. These people don't follow nobody. If the leadership don't agree with what they want to do, they say he ain't qualified to lead us. And they go and find somebody who gonna do things the way they want them done.
Leadership don't agree.
And that's not what a leader is. A leader is not the person who do things the way you think they ought to be done. The leader is the one who knows how to do something and guide you in a way to achieve the goal that you want, that you claim you want to achieve.
Well, find somebody who gonna do things the way they
but
want.
Anyway, I know you have lots to say.
Stay right there, sir, because I have a question. So on that point, let's be clear then. We have all these people that have said that they're the appointed one. That whether you're in the church, they say that God told them they were called to lead, and so they've established these churches. And even in political worlds, I'm going to put it all, I'm not necessarily separating these right now. Even people who are running for elected office, they say, well, I was called to, I was told, God told me that I'm supposed to lead. Now, but you get the clarity that I hope resonated with all of us who are listening. If you are the leader, you have the plan. You're supposed to have a plan, not when I get in office, if you all give me a chance, then I can do A, B, and C, based on whatever it is you say, if you want a leader. But maybe to Son of Man's point, we really don't want a leader. We want someone who's just going to stand in front of us, as he said, a figurehead, just to do what we say because we actually think that that's the way it's supposed to be. If you're looking for a leader, that's a great point, Son of Man, because I don't think that we looked at it that way. Because everyone, and maybe we talked about words, and you share with us about words and the importance of words. You have to be careful of what you say, because if you don't really understand what it means, then we shouldn't be using the word as someone to lead us.
Well, I've told people many times, you cannot, if a person does not know any more than you, then why would you follow them? The leader is supposed, just like your head, the most knowledgeable member of your body is your head. That's why it's at the top, and that's why all of the other members must trust the head, because the head is the only one that can see, the only one that can hear, the only one that can speak, and the only one that can actually get the whole body to move as one. Now, I'll show you an example. You got a lot of people out here talking about God sent them. Well, I done proved to you that God ain't sent none of them. Because I said all of them is lying. And if they're not lying, I'll give them $20,000 if they can come in here and get in a conversation with me and let me question them. And if God really sent them, then God is with them. And it ain't nothing I can ask them pertaining to the word of God or pertaining to life that they will not have a better answer than me. And none of them show up. That's like a man claiming he's the heavyweight champion of the world and somebody challenged him to fight and he won't get in the ring. He just running his mouth. He's nothing. If you took all of the money out of preaching and don't pay the preacher, you wouldn't have no preachers.
Wait, son of man, stay right there. Do y'all just get what son of man just said? If you take the money out of preaching, who's going to be right there? And let me just tell you, and I can bear witness. When I talked to Son of Man, you all remember when he was surprised us and he was in the studio, and then we talked afterwards, and I was talking about sowing into the New Nation of Islam. He said, if that's what you choose to do, then you can handle that with the local team representatives here. Not a problem. That's what he told me. He said, if you can, if it's not a strain, if that's what you choose to do. But it didn't stop anything. It doesn't stop the conversations that he gives. It doesn't stop the work that he is doing. And so you tell me to this point, who would have their church doors open if the money stops? Right? And we see y'all don't want to talk about that. Let me make sure you get the numbers. 313-868-0342 and call as I see you. We're going to get to you. 313-868-0351. 313-868-4336. Now, we're not saying, or I'm not saying that I understand that you need money to accomplish things. If you have plans and goals, you need money to do certain things. Absolutely. I don't believe anyone is saying that. I mean, just look at the campaign component. We talked about the money. The current mayor raised, what, $2 million for a re-election campaign. The second came in, Coleman Young. He was at, what, $44,000 total. I don't know how you compare $2 million to $44,000. But at the end of the day, that is what it is. We know that we need money to accomplish certain things. But that can't be the driving factor. Or maybe Son of Man it is.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. In this society, they have fixed it where the poor actually have no voice at all. And the wealthy, they control everything, and so you keep the black people poor because black people are so stuck in that old slave mentality. For instance, when I tried to get you all to help me make black people wealthy, and let's make millionaires, I couldn't get the 300 people to sign up, so I never took up no money because didn't have enough people to do it. And because you're so niggardly, you can't nobody do nothing for you. Niggardly means selfish and stingy. The one person asked me, well, who gonna be first? Who gonna get the first money? We hadn't even got no money yet, and they was already squabbling over who was gonna be first, and it just petered right on out because. I realized I was talking to the wrong people because my people haven't grown enough to understand the value of that kind of thing. And so, naturally, the mayor being white, $2 million is no money. That's not no bunch of money. That's white people that's a drop in the bucket for them. So they gave him what he needed to launch his campaign and to do what he needs to do. This white people, they know this game called politics. You and me, we don't really know what politics is about. That's why we forgot all about the fact that the state owed the city of Detroit money, and the state didn't pay the city the revenue sharing that they owed them, and they did that all over Michigan. That's why you found that and when he didn't pay them, naturally the city was maneuvered into bankruptcy because the state stole their money. And then the state took over the city, saying that they needed to manage the city because the city wasn't properly managed. And then the people that you put in there that didn't know no more than you, they they said, can they do that? And the mere fact you asking, can he do it? It shows you're not the mayor. You're just sitting there. Because the mayor is the chief executive of the city. And by right, he had to let the governor or nobody else come in there and take over his city. But, you have to understand what you can and cannot do yourself. If you don't know what your powers are, then naturally people can come in and just push you aside. And so that's what, that's what we didn't know. And I'm going to tell you something. As long as you're trying to get into the politics of this people who have shown you that they hate you, they don't care nothing about us. Most of our leaders are scared to say that. They scared white folks going to come up there and ask them what did he mean and all that, and he got to be shuffling and going on. I'm not afraid what he going to come ask me. They don't care nothing about us. That's the bottom line. Then, and when we try to get involved in their politics, they just change the rules. And when we trying to learn the new rules, and then when we learn them, they change them again. No, what we need to do is unite with our own selves and build a future for ourselves independently of them. And the only way we're going to do that is to get behind the one that Allah put here to do that with you, and that's me. I'm here. The only reason I take money from you is because what I'm building is for you. I want to build something up for you. So naturally, when you offer to help me, I said, yes, I need your help. And you should help me, since what I'm doing is going to benefit you. And if you don't see that, well, I'm not going to beg you. I'm not here to beg nobody. You ain't never seen me stand up begging for money. No. The only time you saw me actually doing something what you might call begging was when I was trying to get you to participate in that 3-year economic plan to help the station. And I was, and we did what we had to do, and then I stopped that. Ain't no 3-year economic plan still going on. We did that. And if we would just go on, and if I could just get you to support me, if I could get all the black people in Detroit to support me for 1 week and do whatever I asked you for 1 week, you would support me for the rest of your life. Because you'd see that I'm really the one that can get you something that will be substantially beneficial to all of you. Man, we could be doing so many things. If I could just get $10 a week from everybody in Detroit, shoot, man, we'd have our own. We could take that city and make it into the most beautiful place that ever was. But you don't want that. You don't want no black man that really can do something for you. You wants to always, you get jealous so quick. You ain't thought of nothing to do, but when somebody share an idea with you, you want to act like you know more about it than they do. And that's your problem. You can't nobody help you because everybody trying to help you. You say, oh, I can do that. Wasn't doing it. But all of a sudden now you know how to do that. You know how to do everything. And all you're doing is you're just a cheap copy of white people. They steal other people's ideas and claim them as theirs. That's what white people been doing to us. And now you doing it to yourself. Everybody and his brother talking about, we need to do for self. Right. Where did you get that from? You got that from the Muslims. You got that from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Wasn't no Negro in America saying we must do for self. We must unite and pool our resources. But you steal from the black man, just like your white counterpart. You steal from him and then try to make it like you was the one that did it. And you was the one that thought it up. You're gonna regret that. One of these days, you're gonna regret the fact that you didn't let me guide you to success. All I was trying to do was make you successful. You think I don't stop working on Love's Tires because I don't talk about it no more? I'm gonna show you the finished product pretty soon. But I can't tell you everything because you talk too much.
And if we can, I'm going to go to the line, because all our lines are lit, so I want us to have that conversation. But at some point when we circle back around, I'd like for us, please, to talk about tithes and offerings, okay?
Okay.
Stick a pin in that, because I want to give back to your point, and I want to bring it together, but I don't want to miss these calls. So let's go to the line, because everyone's been patient. We appreciate your patience. Great Friday to you. Are you there? Good morning.
Good morning, Queen.
Good morning, King. How are you this morning?
Good morning to you, Janice.
Good morning.
Queen, yesterday you was speaking in terms of the situation and the problem. And Queen, we have the history of 1913 on Jekyll Island off the coast of Georgia. President Woodrow Wilson actually betraying the country. And it happened, what happened was the bankers took over the printing of the money here in America. And so now you have the Federal Reserve, the FBI, the ADL, all these organizations that were started around 1913, 1914. And Queen, when you sit back and think about it, you were talking about trying to work in another man's system. And the bottom line, Queen, understand, we will never be successful working in somebody else's system under their operation. And that's really what you were trying to get us to understand, I think. And Queen, when you think about it, understand, this country is over $20 trillion in debt. And it grows every year. And everybody that runs for office says they are going to control the deficit. But we failed to go and do the research to find out that America is still a colony under Great Britain. And so we will never be successful operating in their system. And so we say the city of Detroit, the mayor, this and that. It doesn't bother me because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us since the 1930s how this world has been set up. And so we're still trying to work in somebody else's system and to look for benefit. Dr. Abel Muhammad said that they call that insanity. When you still work in the system and you still keep getting the same results. They call that insanity. And so this is the condition that we are in as a people, really. And so until we get up, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, get up and do something for ourselves, we will not be successful. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, understand, me being a student up under Minister Farrakhan, he was adamant about us studying. How important study is, because the scripture said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And that's our problem, Queen. We don't study. And each and every one of us have a responsibility.
Sure.
Each and every one of us have our own responsibility.
Now, say right for me. And I agree. I'm going to have to do some research for the 1913 because I can't adequately speak on that because I'm not educated on that. So I'm going to do some research on that. But to your point, I believe that is what we're all saying. I tried to say that we need to operate differently yesterday. So the man is saying that this morning. You're saying that as well. And please, in all due honesty, and help me understand why we can't do that. So we talk about this doctrine. So explain to me. We talk about the doctrine from the Nation of Islam and following Honorable Minister Farrakhan. And then we talk about, I need to know what the disconnect is. So if you could follow, and King, I'm not saying that this has to be an answer that, a question that you can address. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just need to know, if you can follow Minister Farrakhan, why shouldn't you follow Son of Man? And I'm just putting this out there. So is the fundamentals that different, or is it the person? And I'm not saying that you have to have that answer. Again, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. This is just for me. Because if we're all saying that we were trained, if you were trained under the Honorable Elijah, and then we all get to the point that we say, okay, we can't do it the way that it's been presented for us, what's the problem?
Queen, my belief in under the study of Minister Farrakhan.
Okay.
In my belief, I'm saying me, and I can wager my life on that.
Okay.
I believe, now I'm beyond belief, factual, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the messenger of God, is the fulfillment of the scriptures. You know, that's my belief, and it's factual, that there was a conspiracy to take his life, and that he escaped that. And that he is the exalted Christ. He's the right hand of God. And he's with Master Prophet Muhammad, the one who taught him 3.5 years. And there's a lot of things that I can say, but we don't have the time, Queen. And the things that have been proven to me, that which nobody talks about, what this country calls unidentified flying objects, the mother plane. Queen, I witnessed a fleet of planes below the house and have visited. And I had other people to bear witness with me also on that. You know, there's so much information, understand, on that which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about, the mother plane, which will be used to bring this world down.
Okay. Well, see,
it's factual. You can go do the research, look UFOs,
sure,
and they all bear witness to it, Queen.
No, and I understand that. And maybe, and if I can, I'm going to ask Son of Man, maybe you can tell me. Can you tell me why, if you had someone who's candid enough with you to say why they would follow the Nation of Islam versus the New Nation?
Because they didn't want what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
You know,
no, you be quiet, brother. That's not just
because.
So, King, I'm asking. Let me let Son of Man chime in. Hold on, Son of Man, please.
Now, the reason they don't follow me is because they didn't follow the messenger. I mean, he's invoking the messenger's name, but let me let you hear something here.
The preacher of freedom, justice, and equality.
Just a moment.
Greetings to you. I'm Elijah Muhammad, the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality to you, my poor black people who have been lost in the wilderness of North America for the last 400 or more years. You, my dear beloved brothers and sisters that is listening to my voice on this album, I would that you pay good attention to it. Our subject is the judgment. Judgment has been taught, and we have been warned that it is a day coming that we all will be judged. And whosoever Allah have voice upon, that person have a great reward bestowed upon him. Because we live in a world guided by the open enemy, the devil himself. Therefore, being lost from our own people, wherein there was no one to teach us, no one to help us. All teachers was prevented from teaching us a very pitiable condition. Our Father fell in when captured by our enemy, the open devil in our native land. Through this peace, here we are today on God, before the God who will judge us all. Who will this God be? The Son of Man, both Bible.
Now, here he invoking the messenger's name like he following the messenger. And you don't hear nobody else answering to that title, Son of Man, but me. But he say he following Minister Farrakhan. And he is. He following him. But trying to connect Minister Farrakhan to the foundation that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad laid is an effort in futility. The only one you can connect to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is me. He even told him, he said, ain't nobody coming behind me but God. I better tell you that. And he told you who that God is. He said, the Son of Man. See, God don't mean what people think it means. God simply means the one that the truth is with. If everything in the Bible or Holy Quran if everything you speak, and if people can't find nothing in there to condemn you with, then the word is with you. I'm the only one that you can't find nothing in the scriptures to condemn. And these people, they are rebellious. And as the messenger told him, he said, you hard-headed, stiff-necked, and rebellious. You know, and coming in here trying to invoke the messenger's name to what he's saying. Yeah, that man don't believe in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I'm sick of people doing that, talking about we don't have enough time. He won't say we don't have enough time for him to. I done invited you how many times to come on my broadcast in the evening to express yourself. Look, man, you know, I ain't gonna play them games with you. Your flattery don't mean nothing to me. Well, anyway.
I can explain like
you ain't got no explanation.
I explained prior, Queen. I would not go understand on national TV and see two black men argue about someone else's teachings. And Queen,
stop trying to invoke the messenger's name since you don't want to have a discussion about it.
We have to do a study to the success of Minister Farrakhan and his work. His work is the bearing the witness that somebody's backing it.
Yeah.
No.
Now you hear that lame excuse.
But his work bears witness to his work. I mean, he's successful.
You talking that talk.
Mr. Farrakhan will reach the pinnacle of success of this world.
You talking that talk.
And stay right there for me. King, stay right there for me. And this is my, and please take my ignorance, if you will, as me. This is Collette talking.
Yes,
I am not, hold on, I am not taking away what anyone says. If you want to follow Minister Farrakhan, whoever, if the individuals want to follow Son of Man, I don't have a problem with it. My question becomes, let me tell you, one of my dear friends that I've known since 16 years old is in the Nation of Islam. And she talks about the programs, and I asked her, well, and I know this is going to start a problem, but I'm about to say it. I asked her, well, why is it always so beneficial for Minister Farrakhan and it's not beneficial for the people? I don't see how the conversations that you're saying is bearing life and prosperity into the people. And if it's somewhere, show me the difference. And so the truth is we fell out about it. So I don't, and I'm not saying that you have to have the answer for that situation, but I just thought, I mean, is it any different than if we look and we go into churches on Sunday and we keep tithing in, and that pastor is having the Bentley and having the big house and having all the fruits of this stuff, and then the people are still perishing. And so I guess I'm trying to put it all together that if we're saying the same thing in different dynamics, we're not better because of it. So are we just caught in the people and the doctrine, and it's still not benefiting us, whether it's Minister Farrakhan or if it's the Son of Man? If you feel that following Minister Farrakhan is beneficial for you and you are getting the growth and everything that you need in this life for you and your spiritual development, absolutely, that's what you believe. But I'm just asking, are we at a point where we look at it differently? Is it supposed to look different for us? Are we supposed to have our own? I wonder, why isn't there a financial institution? If you tell me that the nation has a bank or has a credit union, absolutely. The nation has a farm. The nation has trade schools. The nation has educational schools. If you say that that's what the nation has, and that's part of the plan, and that helps to empower the people who follow the nation, absolutely. If that's important. So I guess I'm just trying to understand what's important to us. Because we have the conversation and we can talk about the Bible and we can talk about the Quran, but where is the action of it? And I'll tell you all, every year when Minister Farrakhan would come to Pennsylvania, it would be through Philadelphia through final time. And every year during the finals, we would all go to stay to listen to him, to get an encouragement, to get the word, and then we would go back to our lives. And so I'm just asking, at the end of the day, is it more? Is it supposed to be more, or do we just keep having the conversations about what we believe, and it doesn't show anything else? There's nothing else outside of what we believe.
Well,
Queen,
I'm going to get
the leadership is supposed to awaken the power within each and every one of us, Queen. God resides in each and every one of us. Each and every one. And that's when one represents, he's a representative of God. His job is to inspire the God power in each and every human being on the planet. So Queen, when I apply what God of Elijah Muhammad has taught, it's beneficial to me, Queen, and I try to share that with my neighbors in my neighborhood.
Okay.
I grow my own garden. I don't use GMOs. I make sure that the neighborhood that we organize and keep the lines cut.
Okay.
I try to be positive about pooling resources together, understand, and getting more out of it by putting more dollars together.
Okay, so Steve,
Honorable Muhammad told us that if we don't apply or take the medicine,
he ain't doing nothing but
benefit us.
okay, Steve, thank you so much. I'm going to let Son of Man go before we wrap up.
Love you, Jeff. Have a blessed.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you something.
I need you to jump in.
Let me tell you something. Don't pay no attention to all that love talk. If they really loved you, they would be helping me to prepare a future for you. Not if you'd asked him how many are you donating to the Unity and Rebuilding Fund, he'd tell you no. And you know, that's the difference in me and them. I don't hate that brother. I hate what he stands for. I hate what he's doing. He hates me. He won't say it, but he does. And he hates me. And if you ask him, what the Son of Man do to you? Nothing. He talking about he can't get on there and argue with me. The Holy Quran says, argue with them in the best manner. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he invited anybody that wanted to argue with him to argue with him. You notice Minister Farrakhan don't invite nobody to argue with him. You know why? Because Minister Farrakhan is not nobody that's backed up by God. Minister Farrakhan is the people's man and not God's man. And if what I just said is not true, then he can come in here and show me that God is with him, and I will give him all the money that's in our bank account, and then I'll tell one of his people, give me the pistol and I'll stick it to my head and blow my own brains out for talking about God's man. You see, this man, these people been misrepresented. They've been misrepresenting the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I'm not going to stand for it no more. Now, I'm the one that he told them was coming. You heard him on that. He said, who will this God be? He said, the Son of Man. You don't hear nobody else answering to the title Son of Man but me. And I'm not just answering to the title. I'm out here presenting myself to the world as that and inviting the whole world to disagree with me and do it publicly. I didn't say let's have a private conversation so if you win, then I can go back out here and twist something. I'll let you let the people hear you arguing with me right in front of them. I'm the only leader who do that. I should say who does that. But these people they don't want no leadership. The messenger even told them that. He said, you don't want no leader. He said, every one of them on pages spread out for himself. He don't want to serve God. That man want to be God.
Oh, wait.
I'm just talking.
Wait a minute. Did you all just hear what Son of Man said? I mean, that was really a profound, wow. This is what we're going to do. Son of Man, do you have extra few moments for us?
I got as much time as you need me to have. I'm at your disposal.
I want us to make sure we finish this conversation. You all, don't go anywhere, okay? We're going to take a break. We're going to get to the top of the hour. We're going to bring Son of Man back, of course. And we're going to welcome your phone calls. We're going to get all the calls that are on hold because I don't want us to stop the conversation. Because I have more questions, and I know that you all have more questions. And I want us to really get to the heart of this thing. If we really want a leader, then we need to be honest about what leadership really looks like. Or if we don't want a leader and we want a motivational speaker and then we want to just do it ourselves, that's fine too. Say that too. But know what you are, what you need, and then we can all move forward. So we don't just keep, it's like the dog wagging the tail. But we're going to continue that. We're going to take a break, go refresh in your coffee cup, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, man. Folks don't want no leadership. The messenger told them that. Oh, I think they're doing station ID. Can you put some sound in there? Huh?
I gotta wait on the page.
Oh, I see.
In and out, so I don't know if that's our connection.
Well, it's freezing up, so you know everything that we that we have. The devil, he monitors and he makes mischief. You know, and he gonna pay for all that. He paying for it now. You know, uh, you know, he just ain't gonna never quit it until he's, you know, like the messenger said, he ain't gonna just give up his seat. He got to take him out of his seat. Yeah. You know, it's sad. People lie so much. You know, that man was just outright lying. He don't believe nothing he was saying. Just stand up there lying, or sitting up there lying. You know, anytime a man truly believes what he's saying, he'd love to have a conversation with you about it. You know, but if he's a liar, he make excuses not to converse with you about a subject that he brought up. He don't have time. Yeah. Then no flatter sister as though he cares something about her. I reckon we'll be back on in a few minutes. But Allah will soon put a stop to all that kind of action, bro. As they say, nearer to thee and nearer is woe. Yeah, I think those are ads that people pay for. That's good. No sound.
I turned it down like you speak. It was kind of good still.
Now you get yours. Have a business or talent for the showcase? Have your own mobile device.
And that's on YouTube.
Yes, that's the HDR website. We're broadcasting to YouTube.
I was just saying maybe you get it on YouTube from now on. You know.
Broadcast live to the station.
since the signal keep freezing up.
Usually it plays fine, so what's that? There's connection issues we've been having.
Cheese. Freezing. Capital.
Just help me understand, because I don't understand. I'm not attacking nobody. I just need to know what's up, because I don't understand. Thank you so much, son of man.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. I want people to. Are we on again?
Not yet. Hold on. We're about to come out of break. We're back. So pleased to still have you joining in with us on WHBI TV 33. And whether it is Comcast or Roku or from your app or streaming live, thank you so much for staying with us and being committed to the conversation. I'm taking a little executive privileges, if you don't mind. Prior to the break, we were really getting into some conversations. And I want everyone to know that on this show, it's never an attack for me on what you believe. I just have questions. So, King, I was pleased. By no means, I never want you to think I was putting you on the spot. If my questions weren't even about you responding, it was my inner self coming out. I want to know. I'm thinking these things, and so I'm asking for clarity. Because if indeed we say we want a leader, and there is someone who has a plan, and is actively and collectively talking about wealth for all of us, however that is identified, I think that's the type of leaders that we want, versus someone who will motivate you, and then you are out on your own by your own devices to do what you feel is fit that's going to benefit you. And again, it's based on what we want to have and want to accomplish in our lives. And so I just have to ask the question. Because, remind you, and we're just talking only because the Son of Man is the Son of Man and is representative and the head of the new Nation of Islam. But if it was whatever pastor from a Baptist church or a Catholic church or a Protestant church or a Methodist church or full gospel, non-denominational, whoever it would be, mind you, I would still ask the same question. Because I just want to know. And I figure that how you all interact with me on text and online, you have the same questions, and whether you feel comfortable enough to ask, maybe that's my job, to make sure we have the conversation so that we are educated correctly. So my question was, okay, why not? Why not follow the Son of Man? If the premise is, and everyone is acknowledging the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his teaching, then why not? why wouldn't you follow the Son of Man if it's going to be beneficial? And you might say to me, well, Collette, guess what? That's not what I want to do. Not a problem. It's okay if I'm part of a group that doesn't have a church, that doesn't have a bank, that doesn't have a emergency energy fund, that doesn't have a food pantry, that doesn't have a clothing component, a program for the people that follow the parishioners or the members of the group. That could be okay for me. But that's why I asked Son of Man to put a pin in my question about tithes and offerings. And so when I bring Son of Man back on, I want him to complete the thought prior to the hour if he had additional comments. So then I wanted to talk about the tithes and offerings. What is that supposed to do? Because maybe I'm confused about it, and I'm just asking because I need clarity. And callers I see, I'm going to make sure I get to all of you. And that's where we are for this hour, if that's okay. And then, of course, you all know that it is Freestyle Friday, and we have the Son of Man for as long as he will afford us. If indeed you have a different approach or a different question that you have, please feel free to do that as well. That's what this is about. This is our time to be able to have free conversation so that we can collectively learn and grow. So, Son of Man, thank you so much for extending additional time to us this Friday. Maybe we're just making up for missing you last week, for the I am. So thank you so much for the time. And so prior to the break, I had asked a question about why not follow you and versus Minister Farrakhan or versus whoever people follow. I mean, I can throw out some other names, whoever it is, because you're talking about a beneficial experience for everyone, not just you as the lead.
Well, the thing is, they would have, they just said they was following the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but W.D. Muhammad proved that that was just talk. For all of that 43 years, with all of them people praising and flattering the messenger, it took W.D. Muhammad a little over a year and a half to dismantle everything that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had built up. And when he told the sisters, for instance, they could to get out of those garments, they didn't even change words with him. They just jumped out of them, was glad to get out of them, because most of them wanted to be back in that other stuff in the first place. They didn't want righteousness. They wanted the money, the good homes, and the friendship is, you know, fine, but they didn't want righteousness. It was a whole lot of crazy stuff going on in the nation. And that's why the messenger in the last Savior's Day, he said, if you put on a white dress, clean, spotless, he said, and in that dress is unclean, he said, people not going to respect the dress. And so he let them know that he saw them. And he, in many places where you got these brothers coming in here trying to name dropping. That's what that fellow was doing earlier. He was just name dropping. Kept on name dropping the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as though the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching us to go get up a little garden somewhere and raise food. The messenger wasn't teaching us no foolishness like that. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us that we need to go back to the earth in a big way and get thousands of acres under cultivation. And he went and bought farms and couldn't get nobody to, as he said, we put a man on a new tractor and everything. He said up out there and go to sleep. He said we got some lazy people. And so, you know, the things that the reason they don't want to follow me is because they really have to change. These people don't want to change. All they really want to do is be like white folks. That's why every time he get on there, he talking about what the white man did this, the white man had that, worrying about the economy of what white people talking about. $20 trillion in debt. How you know what the debt is? You don't know nothing but what these lying politicians get up there and tell you. You notice they never tell you how much money they take up in the U.S. And they ain't gonna tell you. So, you know, I'm just, you know, it gets a little, you know, just like that quote he called himself doing from Ava. I don't know if Ava said it or not, But the truth of the matter is that wasn't what a fool, the definition of this world's fool. It says the fool is the person who keeps doing the same thing, expecting a different result. You know, you don't learn nothing from the things you're doing because you keep repeating it. And they have another saying: those who remember not the lessons of history are doomed to repeat it.
Yes, yes.
So, you know, you want to keep following all these know nothing, do nothing leaders. That's why you don't have nothing. And that's why you're going to continue to have nothing, because you keep following people who only give you some feel good words.
That's why you don't have nothing. And that's why you're going to continue.
And because I don't stand up and lie to you and tell you that you sweet and that you good when you are messed up, I'm not going to lie to you.
Only give you some
no, you need to change, brother.
Feel good words.
You know, I mean, here you following the man, you couldn't even get the man on the phone to defend his own teachings. And I'm going to tell you something else. You are a fool to look up to somebody that you can't talk to.
You know, I mean, you follow the man, you couldn't.
You go on, just keep on being a fool. But you ain't going to make no fool out of me.
Get the man on the phone.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave out his phone number and address.
And I'm going to tell you something else.
Yes. But a minute, before we go to the line, can you teach a little on the tithe and offering?
Yes, ma'am. In the 3rd chapter of the book of Malachi, it starts at the 8th verse. It says, will a man rob God? It said, yet you have robbed me. But you say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings. You are cursed with a curse, for you have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring ye all, now listen to this part real good. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it.
Bring ye all the tithes.
The tithes and offerings belong in the bank. You were supposed to be putting my money up in the storehouse. Where do you store money at? You store it in the bank. You were supposed to take that 10th, a dime out of every dollar. A dime out of every dollar was supposed to be put up for me, so that when I got here, I could use that to wouldn't have to be worrying about how I'm going to eat. And then at the same time, all that excess, I could have used it to take away your poverty.
You were supposed to take that
and you know that I would have did that.
I could have used it to
because you saw me stand there and write a check to the station, and I ain't got no money.
Take away your poverty.
But you saw me write a check for $59,000 and give it to Mr. Ken, to Ken Stillwell, Mr. Ken Stillwell, and we burned the mortgage on the station, like I promised you. I could have, it was a whole lot of things I could have been doing for you. But you robbed me. And you still robbing me. And you think I'm going to stand up and beg you for what was rightfully mine? The word of God already told you that tithes and offering belong to the Lord. The scripture said the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath day.
Stand up and what was rightfully mine, the word of God.
And so the Lord that was supposed to come, that Lord is talking about the coming of the Son of Man. Why? Because before the Sabbath day, the Son of Man couldn't come. That's why you had prophets, Jesus, Moses, David, Solomon, all of them. They were, the Spirit of the Lord was upon them, but not the Lord himself. The Lord himself couldn't show up until the Sabbath day. You're in the Sabbath day now, and now I'm here.
But not the Lord
you, many of you are not giving me my tithes. and offerings. Tithes is a tenth. Offering is what you give on over tithes, that you may have some extra and you say, here, son of man, take this, and go on and keep on doing what you're doing. But these people, they don't believe that they're giving the tithes to the lying preacher. You ain't had no business taking, you robbing me. We ain't had no business taking no tithes from nobody.
So, let me ask you this. And so then we're going to go to the callers. So I don't want everyone, I see you, I'm about to get you in. So let me ask you. So is it wrong to expect that whether you're at a church, you're at the mosque, wherever you are, and you need assistance, that you should be able to get that from that entity that you are paying tithes and offerings into?
That's what the tithes and offerings was for. To see after the needs of the people. That's what I was telling the American people. The white people of America got all they got all the reason in the world to be angry, because this government, they have perverted the purpose of taxes. That's all tithes is taxes.
That's what the tithes
and the taxes that the American people pay should be used for their good health and for whatever else that the American people need. That was the reason that taxes was evoked on them in the first place. But they done lost their way. It's just like the Negro, he go and give money to the church, and when he's in need, or when he have problems or whatnot, first of all, he shouldn't have no problems if the church was really headed by God, because every dime that you put in to the tithes and offering supposed to go for something that's going to help put more money in your pocket.
Shouldn't have no problem if the church was really.
I know that's what I do with the money my followers give me.
Headed by God, because every dime that you put in,
I support their businesses and stuff. I support them with that.
Absolutely, everyone. And so that's what I want to do. There we go. This is where we're getting to the truth. That's where the rubber meets the road. That's why it's a great opportunity to have these conversations, because you need to now say, self, am I in a space, do I tithe and offer into a space where when I need support, I can get it? And forgive me, it's more than a prayer. When my bills are due and I've done tithes and offerings and I might need some assistance on my light bill, can I get it? When I need food for my family, can I get it? Clothing, shelter, resources to build into my dreams of entrepreneurship, education. Those are things that we should be getting, or do you not even think about it that way? Because you're told that this is just what you're supposed to do because we have this building fund to make the church bigger, and then the church is bigger, and then what? Or we need a new sound system, or we need all these things, but that's not going into the people's lives. And or you say, okay, well, is there a college fund somewhere for somebody? But every Sunday we do it. Every Sunday we do it. Every Wednesday we do it. And everything is exactly the way that it is. Or maybe the bigger conversation is that we're given this eternal hope that when you die, it'll be all good because you would have done what you were supposed to do here. But when you leave this physical flesh, you're not going to need those things. Do you think about that? That when you leave this, you're not going to need clothes and food and housing, and those are the things that you're going to need. So then what? So then you're not supposed to even question? Do you just think about that stuff? These are things I think about, right? So then say, Collette, if you got a problem with it, then blame me. This is called Coffee and Conversation with Collette, and I have the pleasure of having Son of Man on Friday. So just blame me if that's the case. But I want you to think about those things. Think about what you're doing and what the return is supposed to be, no matter who you say you follow. We got these mega churches. You all know who they are all around here. But the mega churches aren't buying up the houses so that the parishioners have places to live. Do you see that? The churches don't even cut the grass in the community. They're not even handling the blight in the community. Are you kidding me? Do you even question that? supposed to be, so be it. But I'm just questioning and asking you, is it supposed to be better? Is it supposed to be different? And don't sit and tell me, I had a pastor tell me, and I'm going to go to the line. So the man, I had a pastor tell me, well, that's not what my mission is. I wasn't taught to do that.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. It's just like when you said about your light bill and the house note and all of that. You know, when you go to church, them people ain't that when them pastors told you, hey, look, now don't be giving me your light money and don't give me your bill money. You got to pay your bills. My followers ain't never got to come to me by no light bill and no house note and none of that stuff. Because I've already taught them, look, that's not money that you have. You know, tithes is just one dime out of a dollar. Now, that they give at the end of a week or however they get paid. But offerings is something that they give after they done paid their bills. You don't go and take people's bill money and tell them God gonna bless them with some more. God already blessed them with it, and you tricking them out of it in His name. Now I'm telling all of them, from now on, your bill money, that ain't no offering for you to give nobody. And don't give me your bill money. You take your bill money and pay your bill. And then now your tithes and whatnot, God has ordained that you give a dime out of a dollar to me. Now, whatever you give above that, that's just your charity or whatnot. But if you want me to be able to help, when you have good ideas, when you have business that need upgrading and stuff like that, then, you know, the only reason that America had money to invest in Solyndra was because the taxes are steady being collected. And so they put $500 million into solar, into that experiment with Solyndra, which was nothing for America. And so it created some jobs at for a while. And even if it didn't go over that well, it was still a good investment. And so that is what the government is supposed to do. And that's what I do. If you all would give me my tithes, I would be able to do a whole lot of things for you that you wasn't expecting. But you know, you giving your money to people who don't care nothing about you. You giving your money to robbers. Don't you know when you take something of value from somebody and you don't give them anything of equal value in exchange, that's robbery? People who don't care nothing about you. You giving your money to robbers.
Hey, let's go on. Thanks so much for your patience. Great morning to you.
Morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Absolutely, we can.
Okay, because I couldn't hear you too, so I wasn't sure about it. You guys are absolutely right. For the men, I love you. Collette, I love you. You're so on point. If you look up Vices, have you ever looked up Vices? And V-E-I-T, Vices moving forward. And everything Kevin Lewis has been saying, and we have been saying it every week, we're in a system disorder, and that this monetary system is so dysfunctional. It's all about the engines that will get all the tools to keep the power, and they use the military complex at the same time. That there is no profit in a current paradigm to save lives, to put balance on this planet, to have justice, peace, or anything else.
Right.
And so they create the problem in order to create the profit.
Right. Wait. Stay right there. Did you all get what you just said? They create the problem to create the profit. I love that. Get that?
Right.
create
so crime is a business.
To create
and so the more criminals that they warehouse, the more stock goes up for Wall Street.
Wait.
So people do have to understand how you're being misused and abused and led astray because they create this culture of negative value system for you so that your behavior, your violence, behavior and all this crazy mental illness that's going on, that's been created in the culture for you to, you're falling into these traps every day. And like you said, all these mega churches, they all about the same thing, a monetary system for them to keep all the power and all the gold and all the treasures.
Yeah.
And so you have to know who you're serving. And right now, we are serving a system that is federally disorder and is fatal to your health, to your wealth, and to your peace on earth.
Yes.
So thank you for taking my call.
So
and I'm going to have to give this other man a call and get my family involved as well as to where to bring the tide.
Amen. So
Thank you so much.
Well,
thank you so much.
What she said there is called capitalism. When you look at the word capitalize, it means to actually benefit from actually somebody else's misfortune. And that's what this system is based on. Everybody is capitalizing off of other people, off of other people's misfortune. And so she's right. And that's the only way to get out of that is to don't take part in it.
Benefit from
Like the devil himself said, the first rule in dealing with the devil is don't.
Right. Right. Don't. Stop it. Don't. Yeah. So the man, now she had a request, and she asked that if she and her family are wanting to tithe and sow into the new nation of Islam, how do they do that?
Brother Derek, let me give his number, and you can take my number also. But up there we have an account, and Brother Derek puts all of the tithes and offerings into that account for us. And his number is 313-580-6871. And my home number is 601-786-9742. And my cell phone is 601-786-1332. And again, I want you all to not be spooky like they used to teach us in church, just so they could get us to give every dime we had. You don't give your bill money to you think God wants you sitting outdoors because you done gave your rent money to him? No. I can tell you straight up, no, I don't want that. And those who out here hooking and crooking, you keep your money. I don't want your dope money and all that stuff. You keep it. Now, those of you who are honest and doing what you're supposed to do, then you give me that tithes. And if there's no offerings that you have after your bills, don't worry about it. Just give your tithes and let that do. But your offerings, even your offerings, I would not suggest that you give everything you have left. You should still have money walking money. You should have money to get the things that you want to get. You may sacrifice some of those things, but not all of them. You'll be surprised one day and see that what I was telling you, I meant it. I have plenty that I want to do for you, and it don't mean I got to rob you to do it either. So
let's go to the line.
All right.
Thank you so much for your patience. Great morning to you. Are you there, caller? Going one caller. Good morning to you. Are you there? Okay, maybe there's a bad connection and you can hang up and call back. So, Son of Man, I mean, that's what I believe this whole thing is about. I think we need to be honest about what it is that we're looking for. And even if we don't have the answers, now's the time to start questioning. I feel like I'm your campaign manager. You know, like when President Donald Trump was on the campaign trail and he was appealing to all these different groups, and he said, you know, to the black folks, well, you tried them, and then they haven't done anything for you. I don't know why you don't give me a shot. That's just kind of how I feel. Like, you can't tell me, and I'm asking you guys to remove yourself. If you're caught up in titles, remove yourself from the title of Muslim. Remove this. If that is what's blocking you from hearing the truth, remove that out of the equation. Just answer me. Like, I feel like that. They say, riddle me this, that, man. Answer me. Based on everything that the Son of Man has presented, doesn't that make sense to you? Does it make sense? Have you ever been any other place, and we're going to now impose religion into this, infuse religion. Have you ever been in any other place where you've been told, don't give me your last? I haven't. In my 45 years of growing up in church, I have never been in a space where I was told, don't give your all and your last. Never, so never, never. And in every place that I have been in that worship, it was literally, you're giving your all for the building fund, for this college fund that you never see the people who go to college, and nothing else is happening around you. And get a load of this. And the mindset that you have doesn't even support you to think about, when I'm in a crisis, let me go to the church. Did y'all wonder that? Y'all answer me? Because I know if we ever had a problem growing up in our household, I never heard the issue was, oh, let's go to the church, ask for help. Do you think something's wrong with that? If that's where you go and you say that's your resting place and your sanctity and the light, that's the first place you should be running to.
Well, definitely.
Growing up, in the neighborhood that I grew up in, the community, you know, I tell them when we had a dual thing going on, I went to Catholic schools and then I grew up Baptist. So I had a couple of things going on, but I never heard anybody say, let's go to the church for some help. There's something wrong with that, you all. If that's where you say you go and that's what's important to you, you should get your help from that space. If it's a God-ordained leader, that is where your help should come from. So not just for you to sow into that space and then you walk away empty, but under a leadership that empowers you. That it is about us. So when I'm good, you're good, because we're the same person. We're the same entity. That's like following someone that doesn't have a plan. But like Son of Man said, maybe that's what this whole thing is about, because we don't do that very well. Maybe that's because we weren't taught that. We weren't taught to follow someone who knows more than us. Maybe that was just the problem of keeping us under control. That it's like the big fish, little pond syndrome. So everybody, I want to be the biggest fish in my pond. Well, how does that work? Because if you're around you're the only person that knows the most in your group, how does that benefit anybody? Clearly it's not working for us, because we can look at where we are around this nation and it has not benefited us as a group of people. So, you know, that was my campaign, that's my stop speech for Son of Man. And you all, and we just got to make it real. I'm just talking about your daily life goals and aspirations for yourself and your family. If you are not getting that truth, if you're not getting those resources where you are, I believe you really need to look at something different, Son of Man.
Well, the reason they don't go to the church is because the church teaches them. They used to say, give until it hurts. And, you know, and then it starts saying, give till it helps. And don't you worry, God's going to bless you. And so, you know, then they get up and give all them phony testimonies and stuff. But the fact of the matter is, the church has been the main thing. They teach you that your offerings that you give in church is actually a burnt offering. Meaning you're not supposed to expect anything from it. And yet the scripture says that when you bring me the tithes and offerings, then I'll pour you out a blessing. You know, I mean, that's just plain. It didn't say don't expect nothing. I mean, you give taxes to America. And it's sad when the one that a man that enslaved us, and we recognize that he's the devil do more for those who he take from than the so-called people of God. Because you can see where a lot of your tax money goes. Just look at the highways and stuff when you driving up and down the road. That's your tax money being spent back to make sure your highways, and those men out there working, you helping to create jobs for them back by your tax money. You look at your military, that's your tax money. You look at them fighter jets and all of that hardware that the military got, that's your tax money that you've been spending and whatnot. The government buildings and all of those kind of things, that's your taxes. And so that the people can see where their taxes are going, at least where some of it is going. And you go to the so-called house of God, and all you doing is just like taking your money, putting it in a barrel, and setting it on fire, and burning it up and go up in smoke, and it disappears, and you never see it again. Well, no. You ain't gonna make no robber out of me. I grew up watching that. And I didn't understand what I was looking at until I was awakened by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Then I started thinking back over all of this stuff that I saw. And I'm not going to be that kind of person. That's why you don't come to no meeting of mine and find me passing buckets, passing collection plate or whatnot. The believers will give you an envelope, and if you want to put something in it, you put something in it. But I ain't gonna stand up there holding no auction, begging you for your money. I ain't gonna do it. I can't do it. I don't feel right standing up begging people for anything. No, the book says the sheep and the cattle on 1,000 hills are mine, and if I was hungry, I would not tell you. Them is the words of the Lord. So,
man, let's go to the line.
Yes.
Thanks for your patience. Great morning to you. Are you there, caller?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, and good morning to the son of man.
Good morning.
Yeah, son of man, I'd like for you to give me Brother Derek Muhammad's phone number again, please.
313-580-6871.
Okay, please, okay. We went to 580
6871.
71. Okay.
6871, right?
Okay, 71.
Yeah.
Right. 313-580-6871.
Okay, thank you very much, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I appreciate listening to you every chance I can, son of man.
Well, I appreciate you, brother, for saying that and for listening now. And you remember what I told you. I mean, I meant that. Don't make no robber out of me.
I just said
you don't give me your money.
And peace, my brother.
Okay, and peace to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know, I don't want nobody looking at us thinking that all we interested in is your money. No, I'm interested in you, not yours. You know, because together, you know, I'll show you an example. If it's just, if we ain't got but $1 a piece, if it's 40 million of us, we got $40 million if we would just get together. So I ain't worried about us being poor. We ain't poor. We are poor because we choosing to be poor by not uniting. But if we unite, and unite don't mean just come together as a crowd of people. That's what that Million Man March showed you. It was just a crowd of people together there. They wasn't in unity. Unity is when you all are one not just a crowd, but you are under one guide, one leader, one shepherd, one flock. And when the head say, let's do this, the body says, okay. And then now you see the power of unity. You see. And when we do that, we break whatever chain holding. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Do you have a comment for us this morning?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go right ahead.
It's not going to be what you want to hear.
It's not a problem. You never know. Please say what's on your mind.
I am.
Okay.
You know, I'm a senior citizen, and I have lived through so many. I don't know what you call them at this point. And now you're quoting from the Bible, and you're not really discerning what you're reading. And Collette, you're an educated, very intelligent person. I look at you all the time, and you just take things and run with it.
Okay.
I mean, the Son of Man really sounds like a black Donald Trump. Very narcissistic, and he dislikes Farrakhan for some reason. I don't know.
Okay.
I do agree with him about the churches and these preachers. I agree with that.
Okay.
But the rest of this stuff, no. I don't go along with that, and I see what he's doing.
Okay, so
here we go with another Jim Jones.
Oh,
please.
No, I see. Well, tell me something. When did you ever hear Jim Jones get out in the public and invite people to disagree with him? Since you're comparing me to him, I'm trying to find out what the comparison is. I mean, I never saw Jim Jones put himself out in the public to let anyone show him anything. Matter of fact, I haven't seen Minister Farrakhan do that either. And the only one I've seen get out in front of and take you all's arguments and take you all's questions.
I'm not.
Just a moment. You had your say. Now let me answer you.
I'm not a religious zealot.
Well, wait a minute. You just injected something that I'm another Jim Jones, and I'm trying to see what make you compare me to Jim Jones, because Jim Jones didn't do none of the things that I'm doing.
But Cain died, sacrificed his life for us.
No. You're not gonna get away from that. No, you threw that out there.
No.
You made that evil. Wait a minute. No. Don't run from your own statement. I'm trying to get you to tell me and tell the people, why did you compare me to Jim Jones?
Because Jim Jones came taking advantage of the people's disparity in this country, and they believed him and went with him to, I can't think of the name of the country right now. And
to Guyana.
Oh, this is all for your benefit. I'm not asking you for anything.
No, just a minute. Wait a minute. You didn't answer my question. What am I doing that's like Jim Jones?
The same thing. Number one.
You see, now you're lying, you see. See, I'm just trying to show people that you're a liar. You ain't got nothing to compare me to Jim Jones about. If you wanted to compare somebody, Jim Jones did the stuff that you see people like Farrakhan doing.
Humble yourself, because all that hollering is fake.
No. See, now you want to talk about the way. Now you want to talk about the way that I'm talking back to you. Now you are misrepresenting the truth. The truth is that it's not me that you can compare to Jim Jones. It's all these other people that's out here taking people's money and promising them a bunch of pie in the sky teachings and stuff. Everything that I say that I want to do for my people, I'm doing. I'm not waiting on my people to give me something to do it. I'm doing what I'm telling you I want done.
Collette, you're saying you haven't seen this in any church. Well, it happens in my church. It happens in... Yeah. You talking that talk, but you can't even get your preacher to come in here and talk to me. Oh, please.
What kind of shepherd is that? Let his sheep... Now you just accused me. You just accused me of being the wolf.
Like I said...
Now, just a minute. Now, you're bigoted. You see, that's the difference in me and you.
Thanks for taking my call.
That's the difference in me and you all. See, you are bigot. You want to come in here and make all these accusations, and then when someone tells you, okay, now on what basis are you making this accusation? You couldn't find nothing that Jim Jones was doing. I'm not pretending to be healing people. I'm not out here putting on doing drugs and got a bunch of people with me pumping me full of drugs to stand up and talk to you. And I sure ain't taking money from people, begging money and getting people to give me all the mortgages on their house and all that kind of stuff, and they ain't got them nothing to replace that with. And I sure ain't talked about going out of this country someplace to another country. So what are you comparing me to Jim Jones? Your preachers and all of them teaching what Jim Jones was preaching. You ain't heard me stand up telling people, come on, believe in Jesus and Jesus with me and all. I ain't told you nothing like that. That's what your preacher do. All of them talking about they love Jesus and that every other word is Jesus. And Jim Jones, threw the Bible down and stepped on it.
Well, maybe we should look at it this way. Son of Man, caller, thank you. First of all, let me just say this. Thank you for calling, caller. You were a first-time caller, so we appreciate that. And let me tell you, that's what this whole thing is about. It's absolutely about what we all just experienced right there. I bet there are so many other people who are watching who would probably compare Son of Man to Jim Jones too. But you just didn't call in because you didn't want to have that conversation. And as I share with you, it's okay. It's say what you think and allow him to comment, and you don't have to believe it. But we can't get to the truth of why you even believe what you believe if we can't have the real conversation, you all. That's what it's about. No one is getting upset about anything. We can think through it. We can talk about it. And so based on when Son of Man speaks, you don't have to believe Son of Man, but I bet you think about what it is that you do believe. That's what this conversation is all about.
That's right.
You to hold your belief as truth. And that you can question that, guess what? If this is what I'm experiencing and it's not beneficial to me based on what I want my outcome to be, then maybe I should change what it is I believe. Maybe I should change who it is I follow. But if you're reaping the return of what you say you want and what you're getting, then that's validation for you. But the only way you will get to that truth is if we have the real conversation. So it's all right. I mean, that's the beauty about life. And I'm so thankful that we have this platform. And I'm thankful that everyone who is called in, who is brave enough, if you will, to say your truth. Because so many times we don't get it. We're not in a space where we can question each other, even if we don't agree to what it is. I'm not asking you all to like Son of Man. I'm not asking you to follow Son of Man. I'm asking you to listen to the conversations that we have that make it relevant in real terms. We don't sit these whole times and just talk about the Bible. If all we do is talk about the Bible or the Quran. That's not what we do. We talk about real life situations that impact you, how you should think, how you've been given information, how it has an impact on your life, and how you can become better right where you are with the decisions that you make or the decisions that you don't make. And Son of Man is but a resource. It would be no different than if I had anybody else up here. We could have the same conversation. So, man, that's what the beauty of this thing is.
Yes.
And so appreciate the time. And then we could have that real conversation. And you could give the comparatives that you just did about what Jim Jones has done, and that's not what you do.
Right.
But it's okay because you can think through it. And guess what? If Son of Man agrees, you can continue to have this conversation with him tonight.
Sure
All
can.
our lines are lit. Our time is up. Son of Man, the last 2 minutes, a minute, please, to wrap up. And you all, thank you. Be open to this. So, Son of Man, please.
Collette, what really bothers them is that they finding out that everything that happens, the questions that they ask me, the scriptures answers them. Whether it's tithes and offering, whether it's leadership, or whatever. It's just like what she said, I'm narcissistic because I'm not narcissistic. A narcissistic people is people who are only concerned about their own well-being. And if that was the case, then I wouldn't be standing up trying to help y'all do nothing. I'd be all concerned about my own self and my own family, and that's it. But the truth of the matter is, if they had been in Jesus' day and time, they'd have been with them same people that said, let him be crucified. Because when Jesus stood up and said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no man cometh unto the Father but by me, well, they would say he's narcissistic. Because they can't get there without him. Well, that was my words. That's what I'm saying. Because that's what I was told, to eat those words up and speak with them. And you notice, she said, I take the Bible and run with it. I'm the only one who can take the Bible and run with it. Because I'm the only one who understands it. So, and when you start really questioning people about the judgments that they make, you find out that the judgments that they made was without any foundation. That's why she ran away. Because she didn't have any comparison to compare me to a man like Jim Jones. And anyone who knows me knows that I would never do something like that to anyone. I wouldn't do that to white people. So,
we're going to allow you to continue the conversation with Son of Man tonight. We're going to put up information for the New Nation of Islam, the call-in number. They're going to be right here. That's how you have a conversation, everyone. There's more than one way to have a conversation. And I hope that because of this, then you will continue to study. You will continue to have questions and think about what we've discussed today. So next week, we can come back and continue it. Thank you so much, everyone who's called in. That's what it's about. We pray that you are educated, enlightened, and empowered. And you stay true to what it is you believe. And then if not, you start thinking about it. Because we'll be back next week to continue the conversation. Appreciate you. She's in the building. It's our Friday vegetarian and table talk. They're here. They're going to give you some other things to think about as well. You can only get this conversation on WHR TV 33. Don't turn that dial. We'll be right back.
All right.